Hi, this is my very long overdue review of the Canon R6 Mark II and the 100 to 500 f4.5 to 7.1. Now I am absolutely in love with this kit. This was an upgrade for me from the Canon 90D and the 400mm prime f5.6. And I absolutely loved that kit, and I still do, but having a 400mm prime was not ideal for me to go on safari with. So I did my research and I figured that this set up would be the absolute best for me. I spoke to a lot of other photographers, wildlife photographers specifically, and they told me that this is an absolute gem of a kit and they love it. They usually pick this over their prime lenses because primes can be so big and heavy and you don't have as much range with the sort of images that you can take because you're not able to zoom in or out with a prime lens. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the body first. So this is the R6 Mark II, and it's very lightweight. This is not the best way to show you this. So this is the R6 Mark II, and I absolutely love this camera. It's not going to focus again. Let's flip the screen. Might be a bit dirty with some fingerprints. Let's get it to focus again. This is just an absolutely gorgeous little camera, and it is little, it's very lightweight. I will have to pop on the screen the weight because I forgot to make a note of that. That's my bad. So let's just pop it back on. Also, don't know if you heard most of that because I made a rookie error and had my microphone attached to it. So what I love about this and a mirrorless camera is that the shutter stays closed when you take the lens off. So you don't have to worry about dust getting on your sensor. The R6 Mark II has dual card slots, which is amazing. I've never had that before, and you can either write JPEGs to one card and RAWs to the other, or do a complete backup on one to the other, so you're just copying, it does it automatically for you as you take the photo, or you can choose to have photos on one card and video on the other. So when you switch over to video, it switches to the card automatically for you, which is very cool. I've been using that feature because I like to have them separately, and it's just a little bit easier for me to go through and sort through the footage and photos. So this has a 24.2 megapixel sensor versus the 20.1 on the R6. It shoots at 40 frames per second on the electronic shutter, but 12 frames per second on the mechanical shutter. One thing I absolutely love about this, and something I've never had on a camera before, is the tracking of subjects. Specifically eye tracking, which is absolutely incredible, and you can swap it if you want to track the left eye or the right eye or both, which is amazing. You can switch between those three settings. You can track animals, of course, that's what I use it for my wildlife photography. You can use it to track cars and people, and with 40 frames per second for wildlife photography, it's just incredible. I can't even explain how amazing it is. I don't think I have ever held it down and taken 40 frames in one go, so I've never had to let the buffer clear. I use a good card, that's an important part of it. At the moment I have the, that's not going to focus, is it? So I have the Lexar Pro 128 gig. It's 250 megabytes a second, a V90 to, oh, it's a V60. This is a V60, and this is what I'm using for my photos, and it's amazing. Not had an issue with this yet. And I do use a different card for video. SanDisk Extreme Pro with 300 megabytes write speed. Oh, it's 300 on both. And this is the V90 that I have. And another 128 gig. I don't feel the need to have a larger card, because then sometimes you end up keeping too many photos in one go on that card, and that becomes a bit too risky. So the other thing I need to talk about is the low light capabilities of this camera. So I worried that maybe this being a 4.5 and not lower, that I would struggle at certain times of the day, and it does come to that point of the day eventually, that there's not enough sun left and not enough light left, and you can't capture not noisy photos. You can always capture photos, and then it comes down to how much you can and want to edit the image. But I always find that quite fun, to take a noisy image, even if you think maybe this won't come out very well, and then you edit it and you can be really surprised with what you can create. But having the low light capability of this camera, upgrade from what I had before, is amazing. I've seen such a big difference for like how late I can stay out in the evening, and I think look around and I'm like, oh, it's really low light out, this isn't going to get anything good, and it does. And I'm always just so blown away by everything that I create with this. It's honestly incredible. So let's talk about the lens. This is the 100 to 500, I've already said that. And this is my baby. I love this thing so much. It's got a really good foot on it. So you can tighten or loosen this ring, and it will make it easier or harder to extend the lens. So that's on smooth. You won't be able to tell how different it feels, but it feels great. And it also, if you put it on tight, it stops the lens from extending whilst you're walking. Like, yeah, it does that. So if you tighten that up whilst you're walking, it doesn't do that. I tend to hold my lens like this when I walk. I don't like to let it just hang on the strap. Don't know if you could hear all of that. Yeah, I just like to hold it. I don't like it when it like bangs against your knee. Obviously the straps could be a bit tighter, but I like to be able to hold it out, especially if you're sort of photographing up in the trees. And yeah, because of the flip out screen, you can hold it back and at different angles and have the screen wherever you need it or want it, and you can still see, and you can have the camera at any angle. It's amazing. I had the flip out screen on the 90D as well, and that was one of my favorite features. So the reason I got this kit was because I was going on safari and I only had the 400mm prime lens. That was my main wildlife lens. I had a smaller one, but being on safari and in a Jeep, I knew that we would not have that much room or freedom to move around and essentially get closer to the animals as well as back away from them when needed. So when you have a prime lens, you are the zoom. You have to walk forward or walk backwards, or in any way you can, move either way. And on safari, when there's a lion in front of you or an elephant, you can't walk closer or go backwards. So I just knew that I would appreciate, I won't say need, a zoom lens. And yeah, as I said, I spoke to lots of wildlife photographers, one specifically that I knew had this lens. I also sent different ones messages saying, I'm looking at these two separate lenses, which one, you know, with your professional opinion, which one do you think zoom wise I would need? And a lot of them, even the ones that didn't have this lens, said they would choose the 100 to 500 because they know how close animals can come to you on safari, as well as this is my neighbour's cat just having a moment. Hi Toffee, say hi to YouTube. She's completely thrown me off now. Hello, aren't you cute? Yes, so for larger animals, particularly like the elephants, I knew you can't move, and if one comes quite close to you, I wanted to be able to zoom back and get the elephant in its environment as well, so a wider shot, getting the landscape as well as closer, tighter up shots if I wanted, which is what I was able to do with this. And I think it's the absolute best decision I made, other than deciding to go on safari, obviously. I will pop some photos up now, just like a little slideshow, to show some of the images I took on safari. To get her to leave because this is distracting. Okay, she's gone. I can focus. All right, I was talking about the lens. I need to talk about some of the features of it. So it is weather sealed, weather and dust. So, you know, rain, snow, wind. It's absolutely brilliant for wildlife photography specifically, because that's in literally all weather and every environment you can imagine. It's a bit windier now, so I'm hoping that this still picks up okay. So the lens itself is really, really sharp as well, which is absolutely fantastic. I was a bit worried, having read a lot about prime lenses, that it wouldn't hold up to what my prime lens did capture, because that lens is stunning. It's such a gorgeous piece of glass and it takes such crisp images. But having not had another, or not had a zoom lens like this before, I didn't know if there would be like an obvious difference. And I've not tried the two out next to each other. There's absolutely no need to do that. But yeah, this takes such gorgeous shots and I'm so happy with it. It has a lightning fast dual nano USM autofocus, and it's really great for macro because the focusing distance is of 0.9 meters when you're out at 100 mil, and then when you zoom into 500 it's a 1.2 meter distance, which is amazing because my 400 mil was a 3 meter distance, focusing distance. I think it was 3 meters. 3.5, sorry. We have a 77mm thread for your filters and lens caps. It also has a built-in 5-stop image stabilization, which is amazing. I'm just so over the moon with this. I mean, the footage that I can take handheld is so stable for what you'd imagine with a handheld, or for what I'd experienced previously from my 400mm, which didn't have any stabilization at all. So yeah, I am really thrilled with this whole kit. It's just incredible. And one other thing that I should mention is when using a converter, a teleconverter with this lens, it does restrict you to 300 at your minimum. So you then only have from 300 to 500. The attachment to the camera and that bit in the lens keeps you further out than maybe what you would expect or want. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking to photograph maybe small birds. Then that won't make any difference, because 300 plus is perfect for that. So I think that I've covered most things here. I think always the best thing when reviewing and looking for a new lens is to look at other people's reviews, and particularly the photos. I think that's very important to see what it is that you can capture with the piece of kit that you're looking for. So thank you so much for watching this, and please do like and subscribe. I will be reviewing any other pieces of kit that I do get, and I have something soon coming up that I will be reviewing, and it's very exciting. And yeah, thanks so much. See you on the next one.